as I look to make my choices for town councilors, I'm looking for people who feel the same way as me, because I think that that is one of the areas that the community can excel and get money back into the pockets of the people. And if we can't do that, at least we can stop getting more out. So that's where I come from when I look at the budget pieces. Hope that answers your question, Trent.
A follow-up.
Sure.
Yeah. We seem to be hearing a lot about the town council and the school board working together.
Mm-hmm.
What I want to ask is, how does that actually happen? How do you propose to make that happen?
Sure. Can I?
You want to ask both?
Yeah.
Both? Okay.
Yeah.
Jordan, why don't you continue?
Yeah, great. Thanks, Joe. Trent, that's an outstanding question. Back at a joint session between the planning board, the budget committee, the town council, and the school board. I'm trying to think, Joe, probably a year ago, maybe more, maybe almost 2 years ago. It all blends together after a while.
It was 2 years ago.
Was it? Yeah. I brought forth the idea that we could look at the IT position, because the school district was just looking to hire an IT director, because we'd gotten to the point where, frankly, we were running into serious problems in our technology infrastructure, and we really needed to get an individual in there to focus on that. Prior to doing that, it made a lot of sense to get together with the town and say, can we get one person to manage the town? Because at the time the town had the contract, probably still the same contractor. Let's take a look at doing that. So we got together, we got a committee together, of which Joe was a member, Brian, Ron Campbell, myself, Sean O'Keefe, and at the time from the budget committee, Adriana Comps from the budget committee, along with the town manager and the superintendent. We got together and we started banging out at it, and was not an easy, not an easy task. We decided that the best course for the moment would be to move forward with the hiring of the technology director for the school district and the formation of a steering committee between the town and the school district for technology issues. And that's where we are now. Did it go far enough? In my opinion, no. But it was a consensus that at least meant we were moving forward. And we were starting to think the same way, and we were starting to look the same way. And I think with the majority on each of those two boards, we can make those things happen. I think it's got to be from the direction of those two boards to the superintendent and to the town manager that this is how it's got to be. This is what we want you to do.
John?
The IT director that the school district hired, by the way, since we're bandying the position out, guy by the name of Sean Coe, I think Coe is his last name, is a genius. I mean, the guy is great. He gets things done. He understands issues. The facilities manager in the school district, guy by the name of Chuck Zappala, is a genius. He gets things done. He's been involved in energy savings programs. The town has called him in to help with facilities issues in the police station and I believe in this building. There are a number of people in the hierarchy of each organization that have great skills. Sue Ballard is the director of library and media technology in the school district. It would be great if she were working closer with the library. But I think that there are, as George said, what it's going to take is some leadership to get some things together and to make these things happen. And I think that a classic example of the things that we're talking about is that path between the middle school and the high school. And my idea of working together might be, let's get the town council and all the candidates for it, and the school board and all the candidates for it. Let's grab some snow shovels and let's go fix the problem.
All right, thank you. Are there any questions out in the audience? All right, we'll have time, I think, for both of those. Michael, why don't you go first? Yes. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Thanks for running, guys. Appreciate it. The state pension system has a serious financial hole. It's somewhere in the range of $2 billion plus that needs to be solved. And unfortunately, there doesn't appear to be any real short-term solution in sight. In the meantime, we do know with certainty that the school district will be faced with a significant increase in its contribution to this system in the FY10 budget, the next budget you'll both be working on. The school district administrator at a previous meeting has stated that this could be in the $1 million plus range on top of the already built-in increases that you'll see in that same budget due to contractual and one-time expenses. So given that you'll have this additional significant burden to deal with, how would you approach the FY10 budget differently? And if so, what would you do?
John, we'll stay with you on that one.
Okay. I recognize that the problem is out there, and I recognize that it's an impact on the school budgeting process. But in terms of how would I approach the budgeting process differently, I don't know that I would approach it differently. I think that you approach any budgeting process looking for maximum return on investment, and you try to work from a perspective of what resources you have available and what your goals are and try to find the best fit. I think that the issue that you're talking about, the retirement system, is one more thing that would be one more demand on it. But I think it all folds into a similar process. And I think that what it means is there is probably money that the school has better uses for that is by law committed to a particular use. And I think it's sounding an awful lot like, back to my soapbox, the state setting up requirements on the school district and not stepping up with the money that they're supposed to be providing to help pay for it. But in terms of the retirement system, when I was learning to fly a Cessna, I had an instructor tell me that the three most useless things to a pilot are runway behind you, altitude above you, and yesterday. The pension system is what it is, and until the state gets control of it, we in Londonderry are just left to try to sort out its impact on what we can do here.
Thank you. George?
Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Mike. I think that's, as John points out, and I just want to talk about the state for a second. The real solution to this exists within the 9 representatives and the senator who represent Londonderry. And that's where the ultimate fix has to come from. Now, with that said, we got to deal with the results.
Right, that's what I'm asking.
You know, that's bottom line is we've got to deal with those results. So how do we do it? I think this year there was a proposal from the board to redirect some potential funds. If it was, I think what Ron Campo, the chair, was suggesting, that if there was a surplus of above $500,000, that we would move those funds to a designated fund balance is I guess the term that I'm looking for. The majority of the board